Do you ever feel tired throughout the day and you feel like you can't get up, and maybe it's around like 2 p.m. right after lunch and you feel like that drowsing sensation starting to fall asleep? I think I might have the answer for you. Now, let me show you guys what I drew up here. I'm not an artist, but I did my best, okay? So I want to talk to you guys real quickly about something that's kind of been on my mind lately, and I've been wanting to kind of give you some value on it. And it has to do with your energy levels based on your sugar, or based on like what you eat, okay? And I made 3 basic little diagrams, I guess you can say, based on sugar, right? And that's your sugar, right? That's really high. That's like 200 milligrams per deciliter. That's how they measure like your resting blood glucose. But I basically put it like this, okay? And I put blood sugar on one end, the y-axis, and time on the other end, on the x-axis, okay? Now, bear with me. I know this is a little more depth than what you would ideally like to see, but I think it's pretty important to know the y's and kind of like in a graph, in a picture sense, to kind of have an idea. So here it is. So let's just say on an average person, your average resting blood sugar is about 80 milligrams per deciliter, right? If you have type 2 diabetes or type 1 diabetes, it might be different. It might be a little bit higher, but might be scaled a little higher, and that's why I put that little green arrow there, green line there. But for the most part, everyone's kind of like the same right in here. Okay? So in this sense, we're talking about fasted, which basically means no eating. This is like waking up from your bedtime, right? You go to sleep at 10, you wake up at 12 p.m. or you wake up at 8 a.m. and you check your blood sugar. This is probably where you'd be at. This is fasted, okay? Now, what happens when you eat, and I put 2 different things, brown rice and white rice, right? One's kind of like a more of a complex carbohydrate, one's a simple carbohydrate, okay? And that just means like the way it digests in your body, one instantly goes to the blood sugar, and the other one kind of like takes a little longer to digest to the blood sugar. And based on that, that's how you can kind of come up with your energy levels throughout the day. We call it the glycemic index, but for you, I just want to show you graphs and kind of give you that logical sense, like, oh, that makes sense. So, with that being said, let's say you are the orange line right now, right? Let's say you're thinking about whether should I get brown rice or white rice. Which one should you get? Which one's healthier? Now, this is the very differentiating factor, right? Right here. If you're eating white rice, white is orange, okay? And you eat, let's say around 11 a.m. You eat some white rice around 11 a.m. for whatever reason. What happens is your blood sugar is going to jump way up there. It's going to jump really high. And what happens in this area right here is, in a normal person, it's called insulin. Insulin comes into your body, or insulin's already in your body, but it's released from the pancreas, and it sends a signal to bring this blood sugar down, okay? So what happens is, let's just imagine that as the midline. Insulin brings your blood sugar down, all the way down, and you know that feeling where you start to feel a little tired throughout the day, where you feel kind of like the 2 p.m. crash? That's because of this right here. You go below the regular normal amount of blood sugar throughout the day. So your blood sugar naturally drops below the midline, so you start to feel that drowsiness, that sleepiness, and for people that are type 2 diabetic, they feel that like crash. That's where you feel that crashing sensation, is like right in this area right here. Okay? And so what happens right here, if you're a normal person, this thing called what the heck is it called? Glucagon. There we go. Glucagon. Okay. If you have glucagon is the antagonist, the opposite of insulin. Insulin drops blood sugar, glucagon picks it up. And I almost forgot that. So it brings it back up, okay? So that's why you go through waves of energy throughout the day. Now let me give you an example of if you eat the brown rice. The brown rice, you go down this way, you're fasted, you haven't eaten yet, and then you eat something, it doesn't go way up. Your blood sugar doesn't spike to the crazy top. what happens is you go right above the midline, so it doesn't have to drop so far to get between that middle area right in there. So what happens is it drops very low and it drops right below the midline. You might feel a little tired, but you can get through it. You can push through it in enough time that glucagon will come in and it'll bring your blood sugar back up. And that in itself will create an energy balance. That's where you'll be able to kind of maintain your energy throughout the day, so you don't feel tired all the time. You don't feel like, it's 2 p.m., I'm about to fall asleep, and you drink a Coke to get yourself back up. And then the same concept will apply. It'll start to go. So that's the difference between the white rice and the brown rice, and how the energy will help you throughout the day. How you can get more energy throughout the day without changing anything. Now, I put the green one in there just to kind of give you a sense of what type 2 diabetes happens to those people. Okay, whether it's brown rice or white rice, typically their blood sugar will rise and it won't come back down, because with type 2 diabetics, they're insulin resistant, which means the person right here and right here, their blood sugar can drop because insulin comes in and it pushes the blood sugar down. Okay, in this sense, the insulin cannot bring this blood sugar down, because for whatever reason, type 2 diabetics, they get it because they eat too much sugar and their blood sugar stays like this too long, that the insulin gets resistant to it. Like it's kind of like if you've heard people say like, oh, if you do a drug one time, you have to do it double to get the same effect. Kind of the same thing. You keep getting more and more sugar throughout your day. And I'm not saying sugar in general. I'm just saying like more and more food throughout the day, and that's why typically people that are obese have type 2 diabetes, because they push that limit so long that the body kind of pushes back. And when you're at this level right here, your blood sugar stays elevated too long, and it causes so many different adverse effects, which basically means like bad things happen in your body when that happens too long. Okay, and so what people have to do is they have to like either like take an insulin shot if they're type 2 diabetics, or they just can't get to this level because like they run the risk of getting too much blood sugar where they're, they start to go blind. I've seen people, lose their sight because of their blood sugar being so high so long. And it takes a lot longer, so that area, the way they drop back down, it's much a steeper slope, so they get much more tired a lot faster. Okay, so I just wanted to give you guys a quick little tip on type 2 diabetes and brown rice versus white rice and how to maintain that energy. So I hope you guys like this video. If you do, just comment or share this video so I know that you guys like my content and I know to keep putting out stuff out there for you.